In our final part of linear functions, we're going to be looking at graphing lines using the slope and the y-intercept, M and B. Most students feel very comfortable with this because it is something they did in high school and actually remember. But let's just go through it just in case you don't remember. So the steps we want to do is we want to solve for y. We want to identify our M and B, our slope and y-intercept. We want to plot B always on the y-axis, and then from B we're going to use the slope, that rise over run, to get more points. So for this first example we're going to solve for y. So let's see, I can move my x over to the other side. And then I need to divide by -1. And I'm going to go ahead and rearrange that and put that in y equals mx plus b form. So m is always the number in front of x, it does not include the x, and b is the other number that's not by x. So b is always going to go on the y-axis. So this is the y-axis. So we're going to go up 1 unit and put a dot. Then we want to use our slope, but we need to make it into a fraction, rise over run. So if it's a whole number, put it over 1. So from this dot of B, we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 1. So let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, oops, I'm out of graph paper, but that's okay. Over 1, it would be right there. But what if I wanted to go backwards? I want you to remember that 4 over 1, positive, is the same as -4 over -1, which is also positive. So if I start here, I could go down 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the left 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, and to the left 1. So use a straight edge, which I don't have, and connect those points. The more points you make, the better your line will be. Let's look at the next example. So we want to solve for y. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. Then I'm going to divide by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3, and then I have minus 2/3 x. Now you can leave it like that as long as you know the number including the sign that's multiplied by x, that's going to be our slope, and then the other number is going to be b. So we have b that goes on the y-axis, which is right there, and then from b we have -2 over 3. So that means I'm going to go down and then I'm going to go to the right. So down 2 and to the right, 1, 2, 3. Do it again. Down 2 and to the right, 1, 2, 3. Now, you could reverse it, and remember -2 over the 3 is the same as +2 over -3. So I could go up and then left. Let's try that. Up 2 and left 3. Up 2 and left 3. And all those dots should be in a line. Then you would take a straight edge and connect those. Pretty easy. Here that looks kind of weird. It is solved for y. And so I give this example because a lot of students say, oh, the fraction, that's the slope, but that's not true. Remember, the number that's multiplied by x, that's the slope, and then the constant, the number that doesn't have a variable, that's your y-intercept. And you're going, well, how am I supposed to graph that? Well, think about that. 2 goes into 7 3 times with 1 left over. So the y-intercept is -3.5. So we would just estimate where that is. So down 1, 2, 3 and half. So about right there. Then our slope, we need to make it into a fraction. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, so I'm going to be in the middle of that and over 1. 1, 2, and over 1. 1, 2, and over 1. So you can kind of notice I'm kind of in the middle there. I could do it many times. 2 or 3 is enough. Really, you only need 2 points to make a line. But I do that example because sometimes we're just tricky. We want to fall into a trap, but don't. Remember, the number multiplied by the x, that's your slope. Last two examples. First of all, notice this only has a y and that only has an x. What's going to happen? Well, this is solved for y. So if we look at y equals mx plus b, is there a number in front of x? There's no x. So m is 0 and b is negative 2. What kind of line has a 0 slope? Horizontal. So you want to again graph that first at negative 2, and then you should just know that's a horizontal line. You almost have to just memorize that. But here I can't solve for y, so let's just solve for x. So I'm going to add the 12 and divide by 3. There is no y equals mx plus b. What are we to do? Well, I could say x is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, isn't x equal to 4 there also? Isn't that ordered pair, what, 4, 2? What about that ordered pair? Isn't that 4, 4? That ordered pair is 4, 6. So all along those points, that's where x is equal to 4. So you have to know that if you only have an x, you're going to have a vertical line. And if you only have a y, you're going to have a horizontal line. But let's go back to this one, vertical line. What is that slope? Undefined. And what is b? What is that y-intercept? Does it cross that y-axis? No, it does not. So we would say none, or there is no y-intercept.